Hello! Okay, today's November nonsense word is little, and I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time, and I'm very excited to be doing it now. I did touch on it briefly in my kindness video about the fact that I was going to make this video, but now that we're here, I'll explain it a bit more. In the last, I think 2 years, I don't know exactly how long, I've started just writing down when people do nice things. And it could be anyone, and it could be anywhere, and it could be any time. But I've just tried to note it down. And I never really knew what I was going to do with it, I just wanted to have it. And then when November Nonsense came up, I figured I could use it for little, because all these little good deeds people have done. But also, just before I begin with that, I love the word little. Something about it just makes me all warm and cozy. So pretty much, I'm just going to read out a list of, I've titled it Good Human Beings, but little acts of kindness that I've seen in the last who knows how long. So about 2 years ago, I was on a camp with some people I barely knew. And one of the girls said to me, I really like your personality, you're like chill but in a good way and you look intelligent and like the kind of person who would know the right thing to say at the right time. It was the most out of the blue comment, but it was so nice. And again, a bit like in my praise video, it's that thing of the compliments that are random and sort of don't make sense are by far the best. Okay, this was really special. When I flew from Chicago to New York, which is just it was one small flight to get me from New York back to London. A woman a couple of rows in front of me had a free seat next to her, and once she confirmed with the stewardess that the boarding had indeed completed and it really was a free seat, she offered it to a woman next to her who had a little kid on her lap. And the woman who'd offered up the seat was a couple of months pregnant, and she said, I just hope when I have my kid, someone will do the same for me. And I just thought that was so kind. Really, oh. When we went to Universal Studios in LA, there's a Harry Potter section, and we went there. And there was a woman named Vicky who worked there, and she helped us take lots of pictures and everything. And she was like, maybe change the direction because the lighting's better, or if you stand here you get a really nice shot, all that. And we chatted a little bit, and at the end of it she gave us a free fast pass, so we really appreciated that. Thank you, Vicky. I've just written here Perkins people. We went to a diner many times while we were in America called Perkins, and the staff were the loveliest people. At one of the places we even got a free dessert just because what we wanted wasn't on the menu, so she was like, I'm not gonna make you pay for it. So kind. A couple of months ago also, I had a message from a friend in Australia who I hadn't spoken to in quite a while, and they just messaged something like, hi, I was thinking of you, how are you? And I know technically it's probably not such a big thing, but it was so nice to just receive this random message out of the blue. I think I may have told this story, but on one of my flights, I really wanted a window seat. I'm a window seat person, and I was stuck, I think, in an aisle seat. And so I asked the stewardess just if there happened to be any free window seats, would you mind if I moved? And she sort of looked up and down and really looked and asked people, and apparently she even told people I was sick, which I felt horrible when I found out about it after, because I was like, I wasn't sick, I didn't need that window seat. But she managed to organise me a window seat, so both thank you to her and obviously the person who gave up their seat. Once upon a time when I was on the tube, there were two friends and there was a woman in the middle. And the two friends didn't really ask the woman or anything, but she just offered and said, oh, sorry, do you want to swap so you guys can sit next to each other? And I just thought that was so lovely, because so often on tubes or trains or whatever, two people want to sit next to each other, but they can't. But if one person decided to move, there would be space, if that makes sense. And I just thought it was really lovely that this woman just offered up her seat without having to be asked or anything. I was also once on a tube where they started announcing that the next stop was the wrong way and that the termination was the wrong way, and so this woman nearly ran off, but most people on the tube already knew that it was wrong. But this woman ran off because she thought she was on the wrong side, and a different person stopped her and said, no, you're on the right one, it's just the announcements and everything is wrong. I also once, when I was in central London, walked past a homeless man and I didn't have any money on me, so I couldn't give him anything. So I sort of did that thing where I wanted to recognize that they were there, so I sort of went, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. And he just went, always keep smiling. And I was like, yeah, that's a good spirit. And he goes, have a good day, like really genuinely. And I just thought that was really nice to see. That same day there was a homeless guy on the tube, which I know you're not meant to encourage, but no one was really giving him anything. And then the guy next to me literally emptied out all the coins in his pocket for this homeless man. It wasn't much, but he still gave all his change, which I just thought was really nice. There was a couple sitting on the bus in the area where the chairs fold in so the wheelchair can come there, and a woman with a pram walked on, and literally with no hesitation they got up and moved. And I know that's meant to happen, but it's still nice to see it actually happen. When I was with my grandma, we went on a bus and so many people stood up. And again, I know that's meant to happen, but it was still really nice to see. My grandmother and I were at a coach station, and we were discussing how it's a bit unfair that often people take up more than one seat because they've put their bags down or whatever. We were standing. The guy who was sitting next to us immediately offered up his seat and said, "Do you want to come sit?" And my grandma said, no, that's not fair. I mean, you were sitting there. And he said, "No, I insist." And he just got up, not waiting for her reaction, and just made her sit down pretty much. And again, I just thought that was really nice. On one of the coaches I went on, we stopped at Manchester, and I always, on these coaches, sort of fall asleep but not all the way, so I'm still aware of where I am and where I need to get off. But I look like I'm asleep probably. Anyway, we stopped at Manchester and I heard the announcement, knew I didn't have to get up, and just tried to keep sleeping. But very kindly, the woman next to me sort of lightly tapped me and said, "Do you need to get out at Manchester?" And I just thought that was really nice, because she could have just left me, and if it had been my stop, made me miss my stop. But I just thought it was very kind. When I went to Belfast, I was at the ferry terminal, and it had been a long bus ride, and I really wanted to use the bathroom before we got on the ferry. And I walked around the wrong way to the bathroom, and there was a staff member, and she was like, "You're a lady, right?" And I was like, "Sure." And she said, "Come." And she sort of unlocked the staff bathroom for me, which it just wasn't necessary because there was a long line at the actual bathrooms, and she didn't have to do that. She could have made me wait in line and just pointed me to the right direction. But I just really appreciated it. At this same ferry terminal, a guy was helping an older lady with her bags, which I again just thought was really nice. And lastly, again, this comes a bit back to praise, and it's about me, sorry, but I once had someone come up to me, a teacher, say, "I reckon if you put in the work in the next 2 years, you could be up to the level of a professional dancer." I don't think that's true, but I very much appreciated that. And honestly, at the time I didn't register it. I thought the teacher had mistaken me for someone else, honestly, because I just thought, no way someone would say that to me. But what the good part of it was, I mean, that compliment in and of itself is amazing. But later that day, someone said, "What a compliment she gave you." And they were all just discussing how they were proud for me to have got that compliment. And I think that thing of reveling in other people's success and, you know, joys, that's the best thing. And then when they got all excited, I started to get excited too. I was like, oh, she did mean it for me, kind of thing. Anyway, that's my little video. Ha, so funny. And just keep being good. Who knows when someone might talk about it on the internet. That's not why you should be doing good things though. Okay, bye!